and welcome to all of you geeks, readers and collectors to a slightly different format for the comic chat this week and for the next weeks, unless you really do come at me and say, Hog, stop it, don't spoil a good thing. Because what I'm finding is that there are weeks like this week where I'm restricting myself to 10 comics. And I know there is a discipline involved in that. But what I'm finding is there are other comics on the periphery that I just want to talk about. And it's not that I want to waffle, because you know me, I'm quite succinct. Stop it. Don't be nasty. All right. Yes, I do waffle, but I love waffling. And you know what? I love waffling about good comics. And at the moment, there are a lot of good comics. A lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the top 10-ish. I think there was 16. I think there's 16 here. I'm going to run through them. I'm going to run through 16 just in 1 week. 16 great comics from DC, Marvel, Image, Keen Spot, Dynamite, and Dark Horse. What a lovely spread. Best hobby ever. At the moment, I do believe comic books at the moment, I don't think we've ever seen such a diverse spread. And I mean that. I don't think we've ever seen it. And obviously you're going to get the capes. Of course you are. You're going to get a little bit of it. Anyway, shall we get on with it? Now, I'm going to do, like I say, slightly different this week. I'm going to do 3 for the deep dive, and they are all issue 1s. So something new for you to look at. Rather than me keep doing deep dives and gushing, and you know what I'm like for argument's sake, like Kaya was out last week, and I'm going to gush about Kaya every time that comic comes out. But I don't think I should be wasting everyone's time, and you're going to flick past it anyway. Do you see what I mean? If you know me, and I hope you're one of my sexy subscribers, and you are sexy, you know I love you. But you don't need to see me running through Kaya every month, and I kind of do, because I love that comic. But that is kind of like an extreme example. So what I'm going to try and do is offer up the new comics. So that's 3 issue 1s. That's where the spoilers will be after my little scroll. Before the little scroll, I'm just going to be running down, 16 great comics. And then right at the end, you know what it is. It's cover of the week. Where I imagine I'm wandering up to the spinner rack or the drugstore shelf or the newsagent shelf with pocket money for 1 comic. Imagine if there was a shelf and a spinner rack. Only pocket money for 1. What would it be? The covers would be there going do. Does that make any sense if you haven't been here before? If it doesn't, it's called cover of the week. Anyway, it's chapterized. So we just imagine if we had pocket money for 1 comic, a little bit of fun. Let's harken back to those days where your mum and your dad or your mum, whoever it was, just said, go and get a comic, just go away, buy a comic over there. And it was like, little bit of self-indulgent fun. But we will take, because sometimes it's the covers, isn't it, that just sells the, dinosaurs versus robots versus spaceships. That was going to get our attention, wasn't it? It could be Superman standing there or Spider-Man swinging. But dinosaurs and robots and spaceships was going to go, oh, hold tight, I want some of that. Anyway, we'll do that right. That's right at the end. Shall we get on with it? I'm going to start off with Absolute Batman. I am, like the horse drawers, I'm up and down and in and out with this one. And I am enjoying it. And I think a lot of people are enjoying it. I like it. I prefer it when Dragotta's on the artwork. And this is the new Mr. Freeze. This is Mr. Freeze for the new generation, the Absolute generation, which I get the shtick of it. But we are 8 issues in. And because Dragotta's not here, I'm not saying this is bad comics. I'm just saying I'm waning. See what I did there? My enthusiasm is waning on that, all right? But not so this. Oh, no. No. This was weird and wonderful, and that's just how I like it. And what a beautiful design on the cover, by the way, with the shadow of the bat dart, whatever you call it, bat disc. Look at the design work on this. Dan Watters and Hayden Sherman on this. Absolutely superb. A really creepy Scarface based tale. 3 issues, done, love it. In and out. Ooh, recommend. And you can, obviously that was issue 6, so the first 3 issues was another story. 4 to 6 was another story. So jump on at issue 4 to get this. I don't think any of these issues are going to be, try and get Absolute Batman #1. Yeah, but no, I can't think that Dark Patterns #1 is up there with the hot books that the speculators are hoarding to put themselves through college at a later date. Oh, this was so much fun. This book, and who is the writer? Is it John Adams? Sorry, I'm not the biggest DC fan, so I please accept my apologies while I seek the correct credits. Adams, I know it says his name on the cover, but what I've said from day one of this comic is it is beautiful. The art and the colouring are beautiful, and I don't have a clue about Aquaman, and that probably helps because I know it treads on toes, and they forgot all about it. Anyway, there's the credits in the corner. The creative team behind this that have been on it since issue 1 are awesome, and this one, in conjunction with this one, there's a similarity here where the stakes are serious, like they're not taking everything lightly, but it's handled with a lighter tone, so not everything is dark and dour. Everything, especially in this, when you've got vampire Gorilla Grodd kind of hovering over Green Arrow, and he's going, well, like, because they're under a truce, he's not, and there is some spectacularly funny moments in both of these comics that doesn't cheapen the storytelling, which is what I believe Marvel have been guilty of in years gone by. In certain titles, they cheapen it by just making everything quip and silly and stupid. No, that is just great storytelling punctuated with levity. And I'm absolutely enjoying them. When you just turn the page and suddenly one of the characters is just there's a comeback. It's not quite a quip, especially with the vampires, the DC vampires. It's not a quip. Like in Marvel, it's got to be a quip. And I think I hope they're getting out of that they're not. No, I know they're not. I know they're not. Anyway, 2 good books in a similar vein. I think I've done that before, talking about DC versus vampires. Right, Red Hulk. Do you know what? He's actually in it this month. Yay! Oh, I'm loving. Again, on the same kind of vibe, to quote a phrase from the modern vernacular. The team dynamic between old General Ross and Machine Man and the other one, the cyborg bloke from the future, Machine Man, Red Hulk, and no, anyway, he's in it. He's in it. The one with the oh no, I've got to look now, haven't I? Deathlock. This is what it's like when you get old, guys. Sorry. Anyway, they're all in it. Deathlock, Machine Man, and Red Hulk. Loads of Doom bots and Doctor Doom, and Red Hulk actually turns up because he hasn't for a couple of issues, but nevertheless, Benjamin Percy is doing a great job at everything he's writing at the moment. He's having a ball, and then as a reader, so are you. So yeah, if you like a bit of Red Hulk action, and it's all part of the One World Under Doom, which generally is really good stuff. It's really good stuff. Leading on to the main title, and Dormammu turns up. Is it a spoiler alert? If you haven't read this, maybe it's a spoiler alert, so switch off now. Just skip this bit. What I loved about the fact that Dormammu turns up, which means the Avengers have got to team up with Doom versus Dormammu. I'm having a lot of fun with this. It is a really good crossover. I've said it from the first issue. I love the idea of this. I just absolutely love it. A lot of fun. 16 issues in of Ultimate Black Panther, and I am still loving this. Brian Hill brings it every single month. It just romps along with all of your usual characters. So Doctor Strange is no longer Sorcerer Supreme. He's gone to Asgard. And wow, this is fun with a capital F-U-N-N. This really is. But again, it's fun without cheapening the character of Doctor Strange. It's a kind of, it is a light-hearted, and it is a romp with Asgardian characters, and Steve's right in the middle of it. He's right in the middle of it, trying to do what he can to get his Sorcerer Supreme status back. And the artwork, Carlos Magno artwork in this is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. He does backgrounds and everything. Who knew Marvel artists could do that? I love this. Now, I think this is going to split opinion, but I love this. Whatever amount of page run this was, whether it was 20 pages, 22 pages, every page is a full page of art, and it was gorgeous artwork. Madibek Muzabekov, I salute you, sir. Anyway, I salute you, Madibek, because the artwork's beautiful. So was the colouring, actually. Louis Guerrero, a stalwart. But anyway, and it's just, each issue of this is one mission and done. So we haven't got to, keep banging on, oh, does this interfere with Star Wars lore? And does this fit in with episode 18? Oh, does it fit in with... No, just gets on with it. Love it. Great stuff. So that's the third issue. It's just one and done every issue, and it's lovely stuff. Yeah, breath of fresh air, to be fair. So it's all the characters you know and love. One story, one and done. Enough said. Geiger, issue 14. I'm going to say 12 then. I don't know why. Because Phantom Road is there. It's got issue 12. Anyway. Brad Anderson's colouring cannot get any more gorgeous over Gary Frank's artwork. It can't. If it gets more gorgeous than that, I'd have to marry it. You know by now. Come on, you know by now. This, Jeff Lemire, does he need any introduction by now? He's weaving a tale that, yes. So the last issue 11 and this issue 12. So the first 10 issues was kind of like a oof. Right, that's Phantom Road. Now 11 and 12 are delving into it via a prequel. Based back in the, I think it's the 60s or 70s. FBI. Oh no, it was way off. Like Dumb and Dumber. In the 90s, the FBI are looking into it. And it's a slow burn, this one. More for your trade paperback sessions, I do believe. I know this one splits opinion. I said splits. All right. Don't get me banned from YouTube, everyone. I said splits, okay? So immature. I know. You must know me by now. Anyway, I'm enjoying this. Like I said before, if this style of artwork was in every comic, it would be no good. But I think as a break from the norm, it is glary, it is lurid, but I think the subject matter is. So I think it is suiting it. There's something about this that I'm just really enjoying. And Mark Spears is using all of including the Wicked Witch of the West, by the looks of it, or the East. I don't think we care where she comes from, do we? But anyway, he's using all of the classic horror, universal horror, Dracula, blah, 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 blah. And, it's a good old fun read. An easy read. Put it over there, buy the variant, get it slabbed. and that's your pension sorted. Space Ghost is back. Love it. Same creative team on the first 11 issues. I enjoyed every issue. Never watched the cartoon. You don't need to. I've just enjoyed this from issue 1, and this is just a great return. More of the same, which I just applaud. Like, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. So they've returned. It's been a while, so they've returned with this issue 12, and I'm so relieved that they've just decided to carry on as they did. Love it. A proper underrated. It's great sci-fi. I know I used the word romp. I'm going to have to find a new word for, other than romp, because this is a sci-fi romp. A sci-fi romp adventure. Great comic. Recommend. Right. That's that lot. I'm going to do a little deep dive on these 3 issue ones. I bet I'm the first one to tell you all about this. So anyway, Battle Beast is a character in Invincible. If you've heard... No, I'm joking. By now, by the time you're watching this video, it's like, oh, really, Hog? Oh, what, really? What, really? Battle Beast #1. Cover A. Really? How interesting. No, Ryan Otley's artwork on this. This is... We'll go through it. You know it all by now. I'm not gonna waffle on that one. This, however, I was about a third of the way through this one. I was thinking, I've seen this all before. There was just a part of me. Yeah, this is Purge. It was more cinematic than comic book. Thought, I've seen this all before. But something made me turn the page and carry on. Probably Michael Walsh's artwork, which is glorious. And Tinian, I think he's had to do the setup. A bit like a Squid Game-y kind of setup, where you've got to learn about every single character. And you could have you've got your 2 choices, haven't you? You can either introduce a couple of new characters every issue, if you're doing a comic, or each episode, if you're doing TV, and that kind of drags it all out, or just get it all done. But my God, there's about 800 pages here. There was some world building going on, and let's have a look, because it is overall a beautiful thing. It's great. And James Tinian the 18th, I think he's going to be a good writer. I think he's going places. I think his brothers, no, I think it's his dad who's written a load of stuff as well. I think James Tinian the 8th and the 9th. I think there's a whole dynasty there. You know I'm joking, okay? I'm joking. For the hard of hearing. Anyway, I really enjoyed this. Dark Horse, Huck. A guy, a Superman level character that is on the spectrum. We're going to leave it at that. Hope you enjoyed that. I know this is a different format. I'm going to have to bed myself in, aren't I? A little bit. I'm going to have to be a little bit more relaxed about it. But after my little scroll, I'm just going to do a deep dive on those first 3. No, not the first 3. The last 3 first issues, because they're all issue 1s, and I'm just going to change the format a little bit, guys, so that I just don't do a deep dive on the top 5 and just regurgitate same old thing. Anyway, join me after my scroll. If not, hope you enjoyed that, because you don't have to stay on for the deep dive. But if you want to have a little look at those 3 bad boy first issues and you haven't got them yet, or you're still on the fence, please join me after my delightful homemade scroll. Okay guys, first up, good old Battle Beast from the Invincible universe, of which I know nothing. My son even told me that I didn't watch the cartoon, and he said it's right up my street, so forgive me, because this part of Robert Kirkman's oeuvre I have missed. But this comic, so this might make a bit more sense for people that are with me and have missed this, because this comic is thanks to Ryan Otley and Annalisa Leone's colouring and his artwork, it is stunning. Obviously, Robert Kirkman has got his tongue firmly in his cheek, because Battle Beast is such, at the moment, look at the beautiful art on that. Look at the beautiful artwork. But Battle Beast as a character is purely one-dimensional. You know, on the kind of Deadpool level, there's one shtick, but he does have fun with his dialogue. He's just he's a grumpy Battle Beast all the way through. He's so over the top. He's on this spaceship now for weeks, and he's eating his way through the dead crew. And he's only got the AI robot, you know, the ship. He's only got the ship to talk to. And after weeks and weeks and weeks, he goes, no, I don't want to talk to you. But then after weeks, he goes, right. Oh, anyway, look, this is typical. Look, normally I would ignore your question, as I am not one to speak of my past life or explain my actions in any way. But he's got to, so we get the origin story. But he does it. He accomplishes it in one page. So I loved it for that. This could have been an origin issue, couldn't it? So I don't know how many issues this is going to go. I will be totally on board if it carries on this vein. It also reminded me a lot of Lobo. So I think what Kirkman has done here, and look how stunning. The reason I want to do a deep dive on this is, look, it's absolutely gorgeous. Look at the colouring on that page. Absolutely stunning. Yeah, nice. So it's a proper Lobo-esque, you know, the one-trick pony character kind of thing, unless Kirkman has gone more up his sleeve. This was really nice. Look how nicely done this is. It's always good to have less, you know. There's plenty of words elsewhere, but this is lovely stuff, and I can't wait for the second issue. Kirkman has got a flair for certain characters, and he's showing he's got a flair for this one. And like I say, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and only got cover A out of all a million. But fair play to them for playing the game, the cover, you know, and the blind bags. My old mate, the Comic Patrol, has done a video of blind bags. His link is in my front page. Go and have a look, because it was quite a lot of fun. I've got to say, it was a real lot of fun watching him unbag these blind bags and seeing what covers he was getting, and he didn't even know what some of the covers were. So yeah, head on over there. This would have been not cover of the week. This would have been comic book of the week if it wasn't for Huck. And it was only because Huck took a different approach to the world of superheroes via Mark Millar. But old James Tinney in the 18th, he's weaved a story here. All this issue is his world building. I do like Michael Walsh's artwork. There's something about his art that looks like the real world. I don't know how else I can explain it, but I do enjoy his artwork. And look, this is a lot of setup. This is a lot of talking. And I've got to admit, I was kind of waiting for it to start. So as I'm flicking through these pages now, but this is where it gets interesting. These are our main protagonists. This woman and this soldier. I like that look because you know the look of him, how he's introduced, a Reacher-esque. Like the guy who plays Reacher, they've obviously modelled off of him, but we know quite quickly that he is a soldier for hire or ex military. Anyway, so we are now introduced to all of the other rich folk that are going to run this game, which is essentially the heart of the story. These rich people need to recruit a soldier, and then here we go. Here's all the characters being introduced, and that's where the familiarity come in. And I can't tell you quite where, but these are where. So basically, like I said in the intro, there was two ways of doing this. This could have been one issue half this size, and we could have had half as much and not be as interested, if that makes sense. These are characters going to a Halloween. These are more characters, so that's nothing to do with the what's it. And then we're back to the military guy, and she's struggling to recruit him, etc., etc. Yeah, there's two more. This is what we're here for, really. And that's what I mean about it did suck me in. The intro may be a little bit too long. Maybe there was too much going on, but maybe that's just me. Perhaps I'm getting a bit too impatient in my old age. But I did then find this a great page turner. The more characters that were getting introduced, you kind of wanted more and more. You kind of wanted a character a page. But to get back to what I was saying, you could have done this over 2 or 3 or 4 issues, which would have been worse in a way. And I'm sure they went through all the iterations of what they needed to do. So overall, this is a winner. This is a great first issue. Look, there's even more characters here. Layla, Blaze, I wonder what her grift is. Slater, look, they're just showing you this is their advert. If it was cinematic, if it was a film, it would be a little montage, wouldn't it, of them doing their past works. And then we're back to the super. I keep trying to call him Super Soldier, but I don't think he is. I think he's just, on the Reacher level of Super Soldier. Not a Captain America style. Again, that's a nice artwork there. Look, where she thinks she's, actually she's not saying that she's a good girl, to be fair, but nice panel of foreboding. The other rich characters, ding, 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 this is their little meeting. Yeah, a great one more, Lady Carolina. Will be interesting to see the battle royal. I won't carry on anymore because there is there's a couple of juicy spoilers there. So I will not do that. Even though I warned you there were spoilers, but sometimes, but I recommend it. Get it, and if you get it, you'll love the spoiler. This, I thought, was such an interesting idea. Mark Millar, Raphael Albuquerque, is it Albuquerque or Albuquerque's artwork, and Dave McCaig's colouring isn't as good as I've seen them do. Just every now and again there was a panel or two that I thought were a little bit shaky. And again, this is an issue 1, so we've got to set up the plot. We've got to be introduced to our main characters. This is all nice, but I don't know. Anyway, it didn't spoil it for me. Put it that way. It didn't spoil it. And I forget where I saw Raphael Albuquerque. I think it might have been on on an Image comic where they travel back into. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We're introduced to our main characters. The heart of this story is this guy. And what he is, we're introduced to a world of superheroes that don't tell the world about their powers. Like here he is rescuing this fishing boat. Right? So here he is, our main character, Huck. Here he is coming home. So he's done his deed, he's done his good deed, but what we're introduced to is a world where the superheroes don't reveal their identity. They don't have an alien, they don't have a secret identity. They just literally don't tell anyone about it, and they try and hide. But it's becoming clear that through Mark Millar's story that there's been appearances. That the society's catching up and realising that there is an underground of superheroes, blah, blah, blah. And he's phoning up his girlfriend, whose ex has turned up. And he's not happy, look, he's sad. And this is where you kind of find out that he is on the, and I'm putting this politely, and I'm not, I'm not being horrible, but this is where you find out he is on the spectrum. And this is the guy, he's got no superheroes, but he's looking for the one that saved his life back in the day. It's just a wonderful idea, look, and we see how he was rescued by this woman. And now this is going to be the thread that runs through these issues. I like the way that Mark Millar gets on with it. I really do love his style of writing, because what he's crammed into here, and it isn't as many characters, but you compare this to James Tynion over at Exquisite Corpses, who's taken like nearly 1,000 pages to tell that. But I love Millar when he gets on with it. Oh, he really does. He crams a lot in here. We get our main guy, the one he's caught up with, and I think she's the sister of our main character Huck. And here he is arriving, but he's not getting angry. I think that's where he comes across that he's on the spectrum, or she might say something. But anyway, nice writing to just nudge the audience into what, like I say, I'm trying to be delicate here with this, because it's a real world thing. But he's on the spectrum, obviously, and then he's obviously a knob. The ex is a knob, but it's his kid, so she's kind of putting up with it. But we don't know why. Another little bit of intrigue, I suppose, that Millar is throwing in. That was a lovely shot. That is your Superman. That is your Superman shot. Oh, sorry, it's his mum. I didn't think, to be fair, I didn't think she looked old enough to be his mum, unless he's looking older and she's looking younger. I thought, there's no kind of Martha Clark look there, is there? So yeah, that did throw me in this comic a bit, like it did just then. And he wants him to help. He wants him to help him find this woman that saved his life. There we are. And that's his little, present he was going to give his girlfriend. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. My book of the week I present to you. And I love that cover. That's nice. A nice cover. Who is the artist on that? Because it's not Albuquerque. Sorry, I couldn't resist that. Or is it Albuquerque? Albuquerque? No, I promised I wouldn't sing on these videos, didn't I? Anyway, cover of the week. Let's have that's a great cover. That is a great kind of pop art style cover, but I like that just for the pure visual of it. With the box of chocolates. Lovely colouring. Look at these two. Geiger's always going to be there, guys, isn't he? Hey. That Gary Frank artwork and that Brad Anderson colouring, absolute dream team of artwork. Ryan Otterly, outstanding work on that comic. Another great artist. I don't know if it's is it Carlos Magno's art inside this, nicely detailed, but I thought that was a great cover with the when you've got Asgard on the cover and then you've got Yar. Love it. And the trolls. Again, colouring wise and art wise, I thought that was a beautiful cover. Says everything on the tin. Love the way Dormammu's got Doom in there, and it continues to be a good comic. Red Hulk yes, he actually appears in it as well this month, so great. With the Doombots. Lovely image, that. Lovely image. I thought it just encapsulates the old Red Hulk. You got him on the cover and the Doombots. I thought that's nice. Got it all going on. Vampire Grodd. I just thought that was a nice design. The eye just has to go through the whole, like every character. And they've only got 4 characters on it, so I really did like that. What a creepy cover for Batman. There were some good covers this week. Love the new look, Mr. Freeze. But anyway, that's a subject for another day, isn't it? World Tree. Now, I read 3 or 4 of these at a time. And it's my old mate Tinian again. But when you read these, thoroughly recommend this in trade paperback. And Tinian's got a lot to say in this comic. But I can't say whether it's going off the boil or anything, because I've probably got since issue 11 to read. But I just collect 3 or 4, and that's the best way to read it. And my God, that is a cover, isn't it? Yeah. When she's casting the spell, you have to look into her eyes. Oh dear, dear, dear. No, I'm not going to make that cover of the week, because that wouldn't be fair, would it? And obviously there's more than meets the eye going on. Yeah, and again, that's why I left them 2, because they are 2 covers of a certain ilk, aren't they? Where your eye gets drawn to. These 2, plenty going on, but there is stiff competition this week. Maybe a bit static. Is it the same old thing that's been done before with Hulk? Good old battle on the cover. Doctor Strange, so that's state. Look, atom bomb going off there. But I do like maybe a bit static, but he's only cover A. Huck, the same. Is it exciting? A man running through a forest with a box of chocolates. I do like the pop art aspect of that. Nice design work going on, but I've got to say, still a bit static. There's a lot, but this is a battle with dark trolls and swords and axes and spears. And there's a big nuclear blast going off in that one. So for me, do you know what? And I know it's a little bit left field, guys. Geiger, look at the beautiful colouring in that, but 14 issues in, have we seen a little bit of this before? And I think for that reason, Doctor Strange just pips it to the post. I think it's nice, solid artwork, and I think there is a lot going on. Battling dark trolls in Asgard. Love it. And for that reason, that is my cover of the week. I hope you enjoyed. If you've stayed with me this far, thank you so much. And please let me know in the comments about, I know it's only a slightly new format, but I think what this will allow me to do is go through more comics each week and do less deep dives on comics I've already done deep dives on, that you've seen before. So let me know. And until next time, I will bid you all adios.